Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this series episode of the podcast series, where we'll be featuring some of our past empowerment grant recipients to learn more about their projects. If you're new here, I'm Eddie Davis II, Midwest BDC's Director of Grants and Development. Our mission is to decarbonize the Midwestern business sector by 2050. Our focus states are Indiana, Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, and Ohio. Let me tell you a bit about our granting program. To align coalitions with the Justice 40 and the Climate Funders Justice Pledge, Midwest BDC has committed 40% of its annual budget to regranting work, either through participation stipends for our coalition members or through our empowerment grants. The environment, we know that the environmental justice have not impacted all communities the same. Black, brown, indigenous, and people of color. Members of frontline communities, historically marginalized groups, and environmental justice communities are strongly encouraged to apply. Uh, Currently, our applications for our empowerment grants have opened up, and we are in our 15th day. That means we only have 15 more days to go, folks. 15 days to go because it was due August 30, even though there's 31 days in August. But anyway, check out the funding program on our page and to our website to learn more about that. Joining me today is Lynese Thomas, the director of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Michigan State organization. Lynese was initiated into the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated on September 13, 1997, not 77. I apologize. She's a graduate of Michigan State University with a Bachelor of Arts degree in English. She earned a Master's of Business Administration in 2004. Lynese has also worked in the healthcare industry, insurance industry for the past 24 years, and currently as a senior management engineer. Lynese Thomas became the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated State Director for Michigan in July of 2020. She has most recently been Great Lakes Region Nominations Chair, elected at the 2019 Great Lakes Conference Leadership Conference. Lynese is a proud member of New Prospect Missionary Baptist Church in Detroit, Michigan, and serves the Lord through the nursing ministry. In her spare time, Lynese enjoys spending quality time with her family and friends, and traveling and also reading. So, thank you, Lynese, and welcome to the podcast today. We greatly appreciate you being here. Looking forward to your conversation today about the work that you're doing with Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated and how the empowerment grants have really allowed you guys to scale and take your projects to the next level. So I'm going to step back for a little bit, allow you to share some more things about yourself before we dive into this podcast. So take it away.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today. I think a big part of my bio that was missed is that I am a mother. I'm a wife. I'm married to Melvin Thomas Jr. I do have two children. I have Melvin Thomas, who is a senior at Michigan State University, following in his parents' footsteps. And then I have a daughter, Melanie, who is a high school senior this year. I also want to take some time out because I don't do this alone. I do want to shout out my social action committee for the Michigan State organization, specifically our chair, Marnice Jackson and Ladidra Wilson. I want to thank them for keeping me on task and making sure that Michigan Zetas do all the things that we're supposed to do in order to keep up with this relationship, as well as the 20 graduate chapters. And we are also represented on 10 different campuses currently here in Michigan. So I do want to make sure that I shout out the Michigan Zetas as well.
And you can't, they always say it takes a village. So it's good that you have a strong team. And as far as I know, with working with Marnice here at Midwest BDC, she really is a pillar in the community in all aspects, and really kind of holds true. She kind of keeps us together as well with the team that we're growing now here in Midwest BDC and the work we're doing. So I know that those words are not just something that you just spitting out there. There's actually meaning behind them. So with that said, let's really kind of dive into exactly what it is that the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated really did with their empowerment grant funding. What does it mean to be the Michigan State Organization Director for Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated?
It means that I am responsible for advancing the objectives of the sorority. I'm making sure that we have successful execution and alignment to the sorority strategic plan. I also have to provide leadership as well as some administrative guidance and direction for our Michigan members. I also make sure that I'm responsible for all of the programming across the state and the statewide programming that we do. So just really managing everything for Michigan Zetas.
Well, as it relates to the empowerment grant, when I first joined Midwest BDC in February, I knew about you guys' work in terms of your relationship with our work because of the past programming support you guys have done. So I knew that, I was eager to be looking forward to hearing more and reading about. I'm looking forward to reading you guys' report on the work you guys did this year with the grants from last year, grant funding from last year. So how did the empowerment grant support the work that you guys currently do within your organization in this past year's project?
Well, this year the project that we worked on was really aligned to affordable, healthy housing, and we hosted various virtual and in-person events across the state, really focusing on topics such as asthma, disaster preparedness, as well as hosting different advocacy days and just really focusing on educating our community. I think that the empowerment grant really allows us to dig in. I'm not sure if you're aware at all about our national initiative. We are really, really focusing on what we call the extraordinary power of she. So that's social action, health justice, and social justice, health justice, and economic justice. I'm just a teeny bit nervous. So this work that we've been able to do is really making us dig deep into the advocacy portion. We're able to touch into the economic portion as well as the health portion, all through working with the Midwest Building Decarbonization Coalition. So all of the work that we're doing is really just tying together.
Got you. And that's good. To be able to tie that into a national program you guys are already doing, you guys don't have to worry about recreating the wheel because it's already in motion there. So you're just kind of adding to it. What would you say over the course of the project? What were some of the insights, some of the things you learned about the work you guys were doing coming out of that sort of thing?
I think that the work that we've been doing, just going to the different meetings, we had some webinars where some of your staff has come and done some different education for us. I think that has really motivated our members to learn more and better equipped us in understanding what it is to advocate for this type of work. And then as a result, we've been able to go out into the community and share some of the things that we've learned. And because of how our makeup is, we've been able to do that across the state of Michigan, as well as on those campuses that we service.
Got you. Okay, so we highlighted some of the positives. What about some of the challenges as well?
I think some of the challenges is really just staying on track. You have to make sure that you stay organized, not losing sight of the commitments that you've made when you accepted the grant. There's different responsibilities where you have to join your committee meetings. You have to come to the meetings that they have monthly. Just really, you got to have a good team. You have to stay on track. When life starts lifing and you have to focus on some other things, you do have to still work as a team to make sure that this work stays just as important as everything else that's happening around you.
That's very good because what can happen is you can get into a flow of things and somebody can be asked to do one task that's not in the area of what they were assigned to do, and
Yes.
that can cause some confusion, and then the expectations aren't met, and then there's a whole cluster of things. You just be like, oh man, So it helps to have a solid team and a solid approach. And I definitely think that that always works. So, other question. Currently, we have the community change grant. and that's more or less with the EPA and the federal government. And we're looking at doing a collaborative thing also with your organization, and working with Kamara out of the Pontiac chapter, and hopefully looking to do some expansion with some other chapters across the state. Um, how do you feel as if, do you guys make it your mission to do a lot of collaborative work with the community and other community organizations, and that's really kind of where you guys get the essence of your work done? Or do you guys like to be, we're at the head, and we're going to bring people on as we need to, but we like to do our thing and kind of stay with what we want to do?
I think that we really like to collaborate and work together as a team. Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated has lots of long time relationships. We've been working with the March of Dimes for over 50 years. It's just a lot of, we do enjoy collaborating, and we are proud of our partnerships and the collaborations that we do. So I'm excited to hear more about what some of the different chapters will be doing directly with this organization.
What about, so another thing is, so this year we did something different. Well, first off, is Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated looking to apply for an empowerment grant again this year?
So I've been thinking about that a lot. I know that some of the requirements are changing a little bit. And I was going to actually reach out to you about that, because I noticed that one of the things is that we're going to have to basically set our year to make sure that within the first 6 months, we're completing a lot of those projects so that we will be able to turn in our form. So for the listeners out there, currently we turn in our form of all the different things that we've done at the end of the year, which is kind of in line with us because that's the end of our sorority year as well. By the time we find out that whether or not we've earned the grant, a lot of my chapters would have already said what they were doing in the first 90 days, first 6 months of the sorority year. And then usually they do the empowerment grant activities towards the second half of the year. So I do really have to tune in with my leaders and find out if this is something that they're going to be able to commit to. If they are, we definitely will apply again, because this has been a wonderful partnership between both organizations.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. The midway point, we just want to make sure that folks are actually starting the work and doing some of the work, and that's why a midway report is looked at more favorably for our standpoint, so that we can kind of manage that. We can kind of help you guys if things come up along the way that you may need some help on, or help facilitating, or help moving along, guidance to complete. And so that would be the only reason for the midway point as it relates to the dollars, because also we changed this year where we are doing a 50% release at the start of the grant, and then the last 50% once you turn in your midway report. That's just, again, we're following along the lines of a lot of state governments and federal governments and how they dole out a lot of grant funding. So this allows for some metric setting, goal setting, those sorts of things. So, but hopefully that doesn't deter you too much, because we really still want you to apply. And we know that you guys are great partners, and you guys set the standard for the most part. A lot of partnerships we do related to that. So definitely would love for you guys to apply there. Another thing that is important this year to know is that this year we've started a cohort. So a cohort, how it looks for Midwest BDC, is every member that receives a grant this year through the empowerment grant will be automatically entered into the cohort. It's a 12-month long program commitment. The first 6 months are more hands-on Zoom calls once a month, check-ins with each other for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, so everybody can have a chance to talk about their project, what they're looking to do, share resources, and also to talk about where they would need some support, either from the staff or other people within the group. The other 6 months is more or less a hands-off approach, allowing you to do the work, but also too, it allows you to kind of have some one-on-one interaction with staff members who are looking to support your efforts of getting you across the finish line. So the empowerment grant, the inaugural one, will be this year. If it goes well, we would like to extend that over to the participation stipend folks. And we really want to make sure that everybody's getting an opportunity to have support, because we heard out of the last few surveys that we did that people were very much looking for support and guidance, and wanted to know that they had that if it was there available. And so that's what we wanted to make sure come out of that was there. So definitely looking forward to it. Definitely would like to, I'm gonna have Marty do some arm turning on you and the team to get you guys to do it. Look, we'll help you out, wherever we need to.
Turning already, because I'm thinking like, okay, well, what we can possibly do is flip it. So the first 6 months we can do our statewide project, and we can make sure, because we usually, each individual chapter does some different activities, and that's how we reach across the state. But then as a state organization, the Michigan State Organization also does a project. And ours is usually at a larger scale. So it may just be a matter of doing that larger scale project first and putting it in my programming, and not adjusting how my state leaders, my chapter leaders have their alignment already set. So it may be just doing it the other way around. But I'll definitely talk. Like I said, my niece is very passionate about this work. So is Ladidra. So I'll be sure to tap into them and see how they're feeling about that approach, and making sure that we get our application in, since we only have 15 days left.
Yeah. Well, last question for you is, I know you gave out some, thank you for talking about what we've done in the past and what you guys experienced in the past. Any other advice that you would give to anybody else looking to apply for empowerment grant for this year?
Keep what you put on your application handy. Right? Make sure that, because a lot of times I go back to what we submitted to make sure and check things off. How are we performing to what we said we were going to do? You want to make sure that you have that outline of your goals, and that when you start planning each of your programs, and then as you're completing programs, document as you go. Do not wait until the end to try to remember. Funny story, it was time to apply. So my niece sent me a reminder maybe 10 days before that, hey, it's not apply. It's time to turn in the response. It was time for our yearly response. And it was due on July 1st. Well, July 1st was my husband's 50th birthday, and I was in Antigua. And I got the message like, hey, Lynese, did you submit? And I'm like, oh. So we called it the Regal Beagle. So I'm at the resort in this place that barely has internet coverage, trying to hold my phone and apply at the same time. And I'm telling you, if I did not have the documentation, it would have been impossible. If I didn't have a strong team, because I'm like texting my chief of staff, like, put this, look in this, I dropped this into Google. So just making sure that you document what it is that you're doing. You're taking photos along the way, because it really is great work. And it also helps the coalition be able to showcase what you've done to help get the word out. And I mean, honestly, that's what you're getting the grant funding for. So just make sure that you're really doing what it is that you say that you're going to do, and be committed to that work.
Yeah, we can't. I'm glad you said that about taking pictures and stuff, because we always tell people to take pictures, do video, because especially if you're putting on events and trainings and workshops, those sorts of things provide a lot more evidence, and we just want to see that people are engaging with the organization and what you guys are doing, because we're not there physically to be able to see everything. So it just helps us. Helps you guys tell the story better to us as we're trying to report back to our funders too. So yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that information. And folks, remember that these grant funds are for you. We raise this money and we made this commitment to give back so that we can help folks in the community have somewhere to support, to see that there's some support in the efforts they're doing, and they're not alone in that. So we want to thank you so much, Lynese, for being here today and representing Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. As you always continue to do a stellar job. And definitely we're looking forward to you applying in the future as well, definitely this year. So I just had a talk with Marty before I got on here, and I said, she's like, "Good luck." I said, "I got this," and I said, "Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you about getting Lynese to turn it after." Oh yeah, okay, okay. So between the two of us, we're gonna stay on you guys, but that just shows how much we know you guys, the work you guys do, and that's a testament to how much you take this serious, and we like to be able to promote and go and put our stars at the top to show the support and the seriousness of doing this kind of work. So thank you so much again.
Thank you for having us.
No problem.
Thank you for the reassurance that we are doing the right things and we're making the difference for the work that you're doing is truly appreciated.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And also, too, folks, as a reminder, you can learn more about our regranting program, our past recipients like Lynese and the Zetas, and apply for this year on our website at www.midwestdecarb.org. Again, applications are due August 30th, so that's 15 days from now, by 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks again for joining us today, Lynese, and we are signing off.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.